Okay, so you think that because you live in the middle of nowhere, that's the reason that you're broke. I know a lot of people in rural communities, they think it's because they don't have the opportunity, they don't have the resources. The only jobs that are available are what's near them, and they have no capacity to kind of have this mindset of something bigger. And so I'd like to just deep dive on that a little bit because I am where I'm at right now because I chose to look at things differently. And that has allotted me some serious experiences. I'm here in Arizona at this lake house with the pool in the backyard because I'm able to work remote. I'm able to do semi retirement activities, all because of thinking outside the box. And I think it's good to diverse your income. I know a lot of people are like, ooh, diversity, or I'm already diverse. I can't diverse anymore. I'm already here. And the truth of it is there's so many diversifications from using what you already have, which is my biggest point across all of this is you do not have to go back to a college and spend thousands of dollars. You do not have to move out of your rural community if that's what you love. I want you to stay there. You should stay there. You don't have to take these crappy jobs that are barely paying your bills. There's so many other avenues. I will use my own experience as a little bit of a reference. I have several personal brand funnels that I've created out of basically thin air, talking on the camera just like I am now. And one of them is a bourbon brand. I own Field to Flasks, and I created this brand under an umbrella of another digital brand, making it a tangible and digital brand, Field to Flasks. And I've been able to network this bourbon brand into a distribution company that allows me to ship to 45 states. And that alone is a diversification that was not available before being in a little town in Nebraska. And so it's just one avenue of all of the different options. And I've been doing all of these lives on my TikTok. And I know from Dirt to Dollars, this podcast, the name is not the same as Little Town Creator. And so if you're listening here on From Dirt to Dollars, I encourage you to go check out Little Town Creator because this is the platform that I'm building and trying to show and implement the strategy of how I have made these businesses basically out of what one would say thin air, but it's really just using the assets that you already have. And so with that, I would like to break down one example, and maybe this is you, maybe this isn't you. I had somebody on my live who was from a rural town in Missouri, and her husband are first generation ranchers, and they have cattle. And her thing is she's figured out direct to consumer shipping. And on this live, she had noted that they had lost several thousands of dollars because of the logistical issues in shipping the beef. Not getting it right the first time cost them a lot of money. And so when I was talking with her, she was describing all of those scenarios that she's already been through, all these pain points. And we actually came up with two different business plans for her during this live off of the things that she already has. For me, a lot of people really want to be where you are. And I know it's a hard thing to imagine when you're stuck inside the mindset of, the top 5 people that you're surrounded by are the top 5 people you're most likely to be like. And so if you're in a rural community and the 5 people that you're surrounded with aren't doing the things that you would like to do, it seems almost inaccessible to get to the level that you would like to be, let alone talk about it. And so it's hard to think worldwide, globally. And when you look in an online business, the things that you have that are attributing to you is you can make this video and it can hit hundreds of thousands of people because of this internet tool. And you may think where you are is so normal because it is. I mean, most people, when you look in these rural communities, they're doing exactly what everyone else is, and there's basically 5 different jobs. And so if you're not doing one of the 5 occupations, it's abnormal. And so, but somebody else in the world, when you look globally and you can get to that mindset thinking bigger, is wanting to be where you are. And you don't have to be an expert at anything that you do. You just have to be 10% better than somebody who wants to be where you are. So one of the breakdowns that we did was creating a system where she could teach other people how to do this direct to consumer shipping. And that in itself is a business model that has so many different avenues, because you can create affiliate links for this. You can teach somebody how to do your system and they can operate it on their own ranch and implement it. And then they'd be like, well, I learned how to do it from this person. I would love to reference you to her course, her strategic planning, how she saved my operation thousands of dollars because I didn't have to go through all of those hoops that she went through and learned the hard way. So that was just one scenario where it could even double down on the income that you would already create. And so it was a really interesting experience on just that business alone. And this woman and her husband, they're very creative. They have so many different things going on their operation. And I checked out their website and it was really cool. All the stuff that they've got going on, pretty diverse as it is, but just the next level of diversity that they're already doing it. And so they were prominent on social media. They had quite a few followers. And so she was already pretty familiar with being in front of the camera, doing the conversational pieces, doing that kind of stuff. So for her, I believe it will be relatively easy. And then they also had another part of their business, which was the beef tallow. And she's able to make this in her home and sell it. And she was trying to figure out ways to get that even more produced and out there. And she's like, it's just a hobby. And it's crazy because for the thought process that one person has as a hobby, it definitely is like 10% further than somebody else, or even a product of need that somebody would want, and they want it to come from a specialty place, like a ranch. They want to know where their stuff comes from. And so she was able to connect to TikTok Shop, which I know a lot of you guys know what that is, but there's so much money to be made in all of these different avenues. And TikTok Shop for myself is another income stream I have. I don't make my big buku bucks off of it, but I definitely enjoy making videos occasionally, and it's just for fun. But it's all about the different avenues that you can go down that you already have. And so for that business itself, it was really just a no-brainer to double down on TikTok and use the beef tallow as an obvious product, and having a shop and doing all the stuff on there that she could then promote. And, you can do affiliates for almost any business. And so those are some of the diversities that were already there. They were already accessible, but just overlooked. And so everything that I'm doing inside of LTC is taking your business and prompting you in the questions, because this is all about you. This is all about where you're at. And I don't want to see people in rural communities victimize themselves because they just don't know how to make the opportunity, because the opportunity is everywhere, and it's easy to overlook it when you're hanging out with the same thing every single day. And so for me, my goal is to really help people figure out how to diversify. And I use that word broadly because a lot of people feel like they are already diversified, but like there's just so many different layers that you can do. And using the tools of the internet, using all of these strategies is something that I'm really trying to implement and help. And so if this is something that I could apply to you and you're looking to figure out how to diversify your operation, I would love to chat with you. I would love to figure out what that could look like, even if you just wanted to figure out, the surface level stuff, because that's all it starts with, is a surface level. So those are just some of the examples and the goals that are moving forward with LTC. But I'm excited to start this podcast again. It feels a little weird because I'm talking by myself, and I normally had somebody prompting me with questions, and I had all this anxiety. But honestly, I think this is a very good stepping stone into the right direction and trying to communicate effectively with everyone and get to another level of getting to know me, and I get to know your operations and figure out ways to help you diversify and make additional income and not feel so stuck or isolated and feeling like the only way to get out of it is moving, and that's just simply not the option. So I'm super excited you listened through this whole entire episode. It's very short, it's very beginner, we're new, and I think the rest of them are going to be really good. I'm excited. I don't know what the schedule looks like yet, but we'll figure it out, and I'm thinking it's only going to get better from here. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Please leave a review. I love that you took the time to listen to this. Okay, I'll catch you on the next one.